everyone, and welcome to Inside the Shield with Pro Football Moms. I'm your host, Elisha Jarrett, and I'm here with my dear good friend, Mr. Rob Vaka.
We've got a great episode today. We have none other than the Falcons tight end, Hayden Hurst's mom, Cathy Hurst. Cathy, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Rob, and thank you, Elisha, for this wonderful invite. I'm so glad to be able to be with you guys and so excited about the podcast and the work you're doing on behalf of the football moms.
Thank you, Cathy. Thank you for being here. Cathy, I'm crazy about you, but I am crazy about your son. Every time I see him, I just want to hug him. First of all, he's so good looking, and I'm definitely old enough to be his mother, if not his grandmother. But just his spirit just radiates through his personality. I love him. He gets that from his mama because I love and want to hug you every time I see you too.
Well, I'll always take a hug. I think, I appreciate the kind words. I mean, I know, Hayden just amazes me that he's so giving and speaks so well and shares from the heart. And I think that's what makes the difference. When you hear from Hayden, he's not just fluff. It's not a lot of fluff. Mm-hmm. It's from his heart. And it just makes me so proud to see him succeed, not only on the field, but off the field in the work he does off the field.
Absolutely. So, clearly he had, a great high school career, then a great college career. First round pick, and he's still doing really well. But Cathy, tell us, at what point did you know that he had the potential to go to the league?
Well, in high school, actually, Hayden was more of a baseball player than he was a football player, and everyone indicated he was going to be drafted in the MLB. And he actually did out of high school. He started playing in the minor leagues with the Pittsburgh Pirates and wanted to play baseball. And unfortunately, he contracted what's called the yips, where he was a pitcher and he couldn't feel the ball in his hand. And it was a mental issue going on. And so he tried for 3.5 years in the minor leagues to overcome this issue. And finally, he had a pitching coach that told him, Hayden, you've tried everything you can. It's not working. What do you miss? And he said, I really miss the competition of football. So he said, well, go play football. And Hayden had a friend that was the quarterback for the University of South Carolina. And he walked on as a 21-year-old freshman. So that was always very interesting because he had a full beard, and one of his first freshman classes, the professor was very confused because she thought he was in the wrong class. And he had to assure her that no, he was in the right class. He was a freshman. But he went to break all kinds of records there at South Carolina in the SEC. And after 3 years of playing for South Carolina and Coach Muschamp and Coach Spurrier, he decided to try for the NFL. And as you said, he was drafted the 25th pick in the first round by the Baltimore Ravens. And that was just an unbelievable day for our family because we knew how hard Hayden had worked. And, obviously his baseball career kind of got taken away from him. And for him to be able to go back and play another professional sport was just unrealistic in our minds. But Hayden he was ready, and he loves the competitiveness of football and the team camaraderie. And there's just so many aspects of it that he just appreciates and loves. And of course, as a mom, I enjoy football so much more than baseball. I always thought baseball was so boring. So even though I thought he was crazy when he walked away from baseball, I was thrilled to death because I grew up watching football.
So apologies for the shirt. I have a daughter who's a freshman. Her name's Alexis. She's at Clemson. Of course, we know Grady went to Clemson. But we're all pulling for South Carolina throughout the year. As long as they're not playing Clemson, we're pulling for the Gamecocks. But
I'm wondering what is up with this guy apologizing. He's apologizing. We don't apologize to a Gamecock. This is our guest.
We want to treat our guests with the utmost respect.
For 2 seconds, I'll take that apology, Cathy. We don't apologize.
We are Clemson.
Yeah.
So
We
let's.
all have our team. I mean, and I went to Florida State, so I'm totally, we
There you
all
go.
have our team. So I support South Carolina because Hayden went there, but hopefully Florida State will
ACC
show
at
up
heart.
this year. Yeah, exactly.
Look, here in Atlanta, right? We're in the heart of college football. So let's switch gears. When I think about Hayden, I kind of think about a layer cake. There's so many layers, and you really started the ball rolling, Cathy. There's somebody who's watching today thinking, oh my goodness, I'm just trying to make my varsity team. I can't even make the varsity team. This guy goes pro in baseball. It doesn't work out, so he's like, I think I'll try football. Next thing you know, he's a first-round draft pick. How does this work? So the layer cake that is Hayden Hurst, he is obviously is a remarkable athlete. If you can play professionally in two sports, you're beyond remarkable. He is somebody who is so convicted that he started his own foundation, and you're a big part of that, and we're going to talk about that in a second. He's super clear in his articulation of what he wants out of life. What makes Hayden, why is he so special? Where does this come from? Give us an insight into who Hayden is and why he's so special, maybe off the field.
Well, I think it's, one is family. We're a very close family. We call ourselves the Core Four, and it's my husband, myself, our daughter, who's in Atlanta and a veterinarian there, and then Hayden is the baby of the family, if you will. And he's 6'5" and he's 250 something pounds. So it's an amazing group that we have, and we're very close, and we keep him real, and Hayden is too. He's got a huge heart, so he loves to give back, and he knows how important. I always remind him when he was a little kid and he would go to a minor league hockey game or a baseball game, and he would want a ball from a player or want a broken hockey stick. And I would tell him, remember how that made you feel going up to that player and asking for that. And, always remember the fans are so important, and they're such a big part of football and sports, and never feel like you're too big for those people, because guess what? That's where you came from too. You're an average person, and we always want to treat people the way, and with respect, and the way we would want to be treated. So, I appreciate your comments about Hayden. I mean, has a big heart. He's very humble. And I'm just so proud of the way he carries himself.
So, Cathy, Hayden, and like Robin said, and you've said, and I've said so far, extra extraordinary guy. I mean, inside and out, right? As a mom, share with us one of your best memories that you have of Hayden.
Oh, wow. I would probably have to say recent memory when the Falcons drafted Kyle Pitts. I mean, as you know, when a player comes in your son's position, it can be kind of overwhelming. Like, wow, do they not think I can do a good job, or what are they looking for? And it's been very awesome to see how Hayden has worked hard and showed the coaches and the team that he's there. They have a great relationship, the tight end group. Lee Smith, who is the veteran and has been in the league for 11 years, brings so much knowledge and just seniority, if you will, but he doesn't act like he's better than them. He's willing to help all the players. And then you got Hayden kind of in the middle, where he's been in the league for 4 years. This is his 4th season. And so he's able to help Kyle to maneuver through the minefields, if you will, of the NFL. I mean, even though he played at University of Florida and for a wonderful team, NFL's different. In the SEC, you've got teams that you play against, and maybe, let's say a handful of the players are the best in the league. You come to the NFL, and guess what? Every player is number one. They're all good players. So the competition is so much greater. And the playbook, I can remember when Hayden came to Atlanta, and he had a whiteboard, and he asked me to help him, and he would write the plays down, and I would just call them out, and it was like, green 43 turn. I had no idea what the heck I was. Might as well have been Latin. And but the memorization and the knowledge, and this with your son, that these, I think fans think the players just show up on Sunday and play the game. Well, they don't. I mean, Hayden leaves at 6 a.m. and heads into the facility to do a workout or to get treatment or whatever, and go into meetings to learn his craft and learn his position better, and then go out on the field and do the practices that they have. So it's a full-time job, and it's just awesome. I love the new coaching staff. I love the feel for this year, and I'm just so looking forward to it, because I really think it's gonna be an exciting year to watch the Falcons play.
You just shared two really, really amazing visuals with us that I hope people didn't lose. So to make sure nobody lost it, I'm going to illustrate those again. The first thing you said was your most recent memorable moment was how Hayden handled the fact that his current employer, the Atlanta Falcons, picked a tight end first by the name of Kyle Pitts, where in this dog-eat-dog world, most of us would be upset, we would feel minimized, we would feel threatened. You're saying Hayden was happy for Kyle, Hayden is on board, Hayden is a teammate, Hayden believes, he believes in himself, he believes in the organization, he believes in Kyle. So that's the first piece I don't want people to lose. That's unbelievable. We asked you what your best memory of Hayden was, and you just told us when the Falcons picked the number one pick, and it's his position. The second thing that you said, which really brings a visual to anybody's mind who's a mom or a dad, is you're sitting there in front of a whiteboard quizzing your son, who's a first-round pick himself, on what the Falcons' plays are.
Coach
That's
Cathy.
remarkable.
Coach Cathy.
I mean, I remember my wife 2 weeks ago quizzing my son on chemistry stuff. You're quizzing your son on Falcons plays. That's unbelievable and a great visual.
And so
Yeah,
true,
absolutely.
so true. Kathy, like she said, she was at a lot of the practices and I saw Hayden not only taking Kyle Pitts, but the entire line, just helping them, and encouraging. If he's out and another guy is doing a route, Hayden is on the side, encouraging them. Come on, we got this. He's so team oriented. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing.
That's really rare.
Sometimes,
Go ahead, Kathy.
right, and sometimes the adversity that happens in your life makes you stronger and a better person. Because, if life was just perfect and everything was easy, we wouldn't have as much fun. And, I've met Kyle. He's a wonderful young man. Lee's great. And I just love it. They're like the trio. We got to come up with a name for them. I know in Baltimore, we called the Titans the three-headed monster. So, we got to come up with something, because every time you see on the sideline, it's Kyle, Hayden, and Lee. They're always together, which is just awesome. And that makes that position even stronger, and they're gonna just do great on the field, I know.
So every game, Grady and I have a game day ritual, and that's regardless if we're home or away. I've been so blessed that I've not missed any games, and that's since Pee Wee, junior high, high school, Clemson, the Falcons. This is his 7th year, home or away. I've never missed a game except the one COVID game that we couldn't go to. And regardless of what stadium we're in, he'll find me and we do a fist bump. And on that fist bump, I give him one word, and that one word is determined by the team that we're playing. Coach Cathy, Coach Mama, Coach Lisa, right? Do you and Hayden have a game day ritual that you do? And if you do, what is that?
Well, I'm a past cheerleader from high school, so I'm Hayden's biggest cheerleader. I am a nervous wreck on game day.
Yeah.
My husband is more of the coach, because he coached high school. He coached Hayden in some sports, and And he's more the analytical, likes to watch the games on TV. And I'm like, oh, heck no, I'm at the game. I'm like you. I got to see my son live on the field. And so I have my Mom of Hurst jersey. So I don't have it here. It's in Atlanta. But I've got it ready for Sunday. And so I will be repping, and I'll have that on representing Hayden. But normally in the pregame warm-ups before Hayden puts his pads on, you know, he finds us in the stands, and you know, and we acknowledge and know that he knows we're there for him no matter what. And then, but once he goes in that locker room and he puts those pads on, Elise, I could run across the field and he would not. That's not my mom. I don't know who that lady is. You know? He would totally ignore, because as you know, I'm sure Grady's the same way. He flips a switch and he is just, he's on. He's in that football mode, and I don't care what's happening. He's all in. He's in that game. So I can't wait. I got goosebumps now, because I just, like you, I love seeing him perform. I love seeing him on the field and be successful, and just have the opportunity to play such a great sport.
Yes, absolutely. On game day, I'll call Grady my beast man, my man beast.
Watching you two ladies interact and talk about your sons, you know, I literally was just sitting back listening to you talk, Cathy, and listening to the banter back and forth with Elisha. And I kind of got emotional in my own little moment there, because I was thinking about the world today and the fact that there's so much disagreement in the world. But there's not disagreement on this, that mothers just love their kids in a way that is hard to quantify. And I'm just watching the both of you interact, and the love a mom has for her child or children, it's just magical. And I want to thank you ladies for even having me between you today. But as we keep going on that theme, we're talking about the love that moms have for their children. You talked about adversity a little earlier. Shift gears for us and talk about the adversity in Hayden's life that's compelled him to do something bigger with his platform, and has driven him to share his story in the hope of helping others.
Absolutely. So when baseball happened and Hayden had his dream ripped away from him, and he couldn't understand why, because he was always such a great athlete. He always performed well, whatever sport it was. And so even though he's done 2 professional sports, I mean, maybe golf would be the 3rd profession he could go after when he retires from football. But no, seriously. So when he left and went to South Carolina, unfortunately, Hayden attempted suicide, and he tried to take his life because he got in this dark place. And even though our family was so close, he just felt like no one cared, no one was there. And so that's when Hayden got drafted by the Ravens. He said, Mom, I want you to retire. I want you to run this foundation for me. I want to help kids and look at mental health and suicide prevention. And so I was so proud of Hayden, because he shared his story, and the Falcons did a wonderful video last year for the Cleats for a Cause week and showcased Hayden's story. And it's just to see how far he's come and what he's had to overcome, but to be willing to share that experience. And if you will, we opened up our family kimono and said, hey, here's our life. And we had so many people. That video was watched by over 9,000 people. And these are people that had a similar situation, or their son or their daughter or their niece or nephew. I'll never forget at one of the games, I think it was the New Orleans game, I had a gentleman come up because he saw me on the Jumbotron from the little clip they showed of the video. And he said, oh my God, I was just driving here from New Orleans talking to my family because my brother, we're worried about him. We think he might commit suicide. So I'm in the game, I'm giving him my card, and we're calling our mental health resource to talk to this family and talk to this young man and help him. And they were able to get him into a treatment facility. So when we can help one person realize that their life is important, and we're so blessed that Hayden is still here to share his story. He wants people to realize that even NFL players can have a negative side of their life. They're not perfect and they have issues, and he wanted them to be able to understand it's okay not to be okay sometimes.
Cathy, that's really powerful, and coming from an NFL player, I think it carries a lot of weight. But what would you say in a world where it seems like mental health issues are on the rise, they're not shrinking, anxiety's on the rise, depression's on the rise, there's reasons for that we don't need to get into. What would you say to somebody who is having these thoughts, or to a parent or friend who's close to somebody who's having these thoughts?
I would say, one, be on the lookout for the signs from that person, your child, whatever. If they're starting to recluse and go into their room and not eating as much and not wanting to socialize and just not being as fun as they usually are, that's certainly something to be aware of. There are so many resources. If it's, some people, therapy might be the answer. Others, for Hayden, it was journaling. And there's so many hotlines and so many people you can reach out to. Don't think you are the only one in that hole and that no one cares. Reach out to someone, whether it's a coach, whether it's a counselor, your parent, a friend. Reach out to somebody and just say, you know what, I'm just feeling off today. I don't understand these feelings. And hopefully that person will walk with them to get the help they need. That's what's so important, is for these young people to realize suicide is not the answer. And it's almost like the old movie, A Wonderful Life. If people could see what would happen if they weren't here, and they don't realize how many people they may have impacted in their own life. Maybe they don't think they're important, but they really were, because they may have impacted somebody else from not hurting themselves and harming themselves. So, Rob, you're absolutely correct. There's so much focus on mental health, and there should be, because we can talk about someone breaking a bone, but when it comes to your brain, everybody fears, oh, I can't tell them that. They'll think I'm weak. No, that's just the opposite. When you talk about it and you share your feelings, then you're letting somebody know, and guess what? You start to feel, well, you know what? I'm not alone. I'm okay. I can share my feelings with people. And that's what's so important, and why we're doing the work we're doing, is just getting people to realize to reach out and get some help and ask for help.
I know one of the things we had an opportunity to Rob and I joined the foundation. What was it? The community
golf tournament.
The golf tournament that you all had
to raise funds.
Exactly. And one of the things that really stuck with me that one of your guests said is that suicide doesn't have a particular face. Like there's not a particular face that you look for. It could be me, it could be you, it could be any of us. And that has allowed me to be a little bit more vigilant, listen a little bit, closer, because you just really don't know what people are going through. And just being nice, just saying hi and giving somebody a hug, you never know how that changes their perspective, in that moment. So listen, so happy what you guys are doing. I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing, and helping so many people.
Right. And it's just there, like you said, there's no discrimination for mental health. They can pick poor people, rich people, white people, brown people. There is no prejudice, and that's why it's so important for people to realize that even an NFL player like Hayden is not perfect. That, we have our scars and our issues, and it's okay to realize that. And he's helped so many people just to find out that, wow, I didn't realize this about him. So now I know I'm not alone. And that's the main reason, is just to help people realize that they're not in this by themselves. And there is somebody that cares. And my daughter said this in the video, don't make permanent decisions from temporary feelings. And I couldn't have said it better myself when she used that quote.
Yes.
Because that's so true.
Yes, for sure. For sure. So, just to change it up just a little bit. So we asked Hayden, if we were to ask Hayden, give us one sentence about your mother without mom being in the room. What do you think that he'd say?
He would say that I am the Energizer Bunny, and that when I get passionate about something, I'm relentless. I don't give up, and that I just, I want to make a difference. I'm so glad we have this opportunity and this platform. My history was in sales. I did sales for 38 years. It was a wonderful career with 3 major corporations, but this foundation world is awesome because, like you mentioned, our golf outing, we had 4 other foundations that were there, and we had them speak to the audience, because it's not, oh, wow, I can't let them have a minute because they might take some of our foundation money. That's not it at all. It's just being able to collaborate and work together and spread the word. So I would say Hayden would say, I'm nonstop. I'm always thinking and always wanting to do stuff, and he'll have to tell me, Mom, you're a 10. I need you to bring it down to a 5. So.
I love it.
Let's talk food. It's time that I want to hear about the food.
Yes.
So get us into food.
For sure.
Oh my gosh. So Hayden was big when he was born. The doctor told me, he's going to be about 8 pounds, and he was 10 pounds. And I told him he was over in my rib cage, and that's where it started. So Hayden was always big. We couldn't fill him up. I mean, I would fix dinner and I'd be cleaning up the dishes, and he goes, what can I eat? And I was like, are you serious? And so peanut butter sandwiches, macaroni and cheese, but milk. So actually, Hayden did a visit to a dairy a week ago Monday for the Georgia Dairy Council, and I think they thought, this is great. Hayden likes milk. No, Hayden loves milk. I mean, I would go to the store and have to buy 5 gallons of milk, and the person would look, the checkout person would look at me and go, how many kids do you have? And I said, I have 1 son, and that's all he does is he drinks milk 24/7. So he's a huge milk drinker and still is to this day. So
that's funny. That is so funny. Grady, I would have to buy 2 gallons of milk every week, and he's the only person in the house that drinks milk. But interesting enough, as an adult, he barely drinks it now. But I always say I'm okay with it because you got enough when you were a kid. So I get it. That's good. That's good. Does Hayden cook?
Exactly.
Does he cook?
He's tried a little bit. No, it's not his forte. I mean, he likes being in the kitchen. He loves a good steak, and but I think he's coming around a little bit. It's always easier when Mama does it.
Yeah.
But he's been creative. I think with the preseason this year, he had a lot of prepared meals so that he was really watching what he was eating and not eating the burgers and the pizzas and all the fun stuff that we all enjoy.
That's great.
Come on, give us the favorite meal though. This is the part where I get hungry.
I would probably say, I would have to say steak, macaroni and cheese would be in there. And it's surprising, he likes sweets. So a good chocolate brownie, he'd throw that in there, and rolls when he's not in preseason, because he watches the carbs. He watches the carbs more when he's getting prepared for the season.
So we're going to have to find a way to add to his nickname, Milk and Garnett Thor. So where did Garnett Thor come from? Give us some insight. Where did that nickname come from?
So actually it was from South Carolina, and a fan of course, Hayden had his long red hair, and everybody fell in love with the long red hair. And at the time, the Thor movie was in that limelight, and he looks very similar to the star of the movie. except his hair is red. So that's where the Garnet Thor came in. And we actually, we have the rights to Garnet Thor because, you know, it's a trademark for it. And in our foundation, we actually have a t-shirt that has the Garnet Thor on the back with the hammer and everything. So it's awesome to have Hayden have that. And with our foundation, we do what we call, for social media, Therapy Tip Tuesdays, where we have mental health specialists provide a therapy tip for people. And then we have Garnet Thor Thursday. And Garnet Thor Thursday is normally a picture of Hayden either playing in college or, you know, for the Falcons, and just sharing some of Hayden's football memories with fans.
That's super cool. I've been called a lot of nicknames, and Thor is not one of them.
So Hayden so far has had an incredible run in the league. And I know that he will continue to, you know, live this passion as long as he wants to. But Cathy, what do you see for Hayden after football? What do you think he wants to do? Where would he go? What would he do?
I think he would probably go into coaching. I think he would be great as a sports announcer because he's always so quick. He's saying a comment before an analyst does on TV, and he speaks well. I think he would be great, but he tells me, Mom, that's not what I like doing. And I think he would love to be back with youth and helping young people to find their passion and help them grow in sports and as a person and being a good person. So I wouldn't be surprised if he would do sports. My husband coached, and I could see the two of them coaching a high school team together, a football team, of course. Mm-hmm. Not baseball. It's too boring.
No, you know what? It's really interesting because in the world we're in, if you think about it, as smartphones, iPhones, whatever you want to call it, as social media, as video games, as things have gotten faster and faster and faster, boy, it's tough to ask a kid to stick with baseball unless he's just super passionate about it, because the pace of the game has not changed in 100 years, right? As opposed to games like football, if you think about it, football used to be a very, no offense to Grady, used to be a very defense-oriented game, and the game has changed. The rules have changed, certainly, to help, A, create more offense, which creates more attention, right? And the game is faster. The players are faster. The game just moves faster. So it's really, really interesting. As you put all this together, this layer cake that we've established that Hayden is, as we talk about what he might do next, what do you see his legacy being? When we look back 30, 25, 35 years from now, what are people going to say about Hayden Hurst?
I hope that people will say, you know, that he was compassionate. He had a big heart. He was giving and wanting to help others in their craft at football, and that you know, he wanted to give back as much as he received. And that's what I think is so important about life, is a full circle. You know, he got a lot from people growing up, and coaches and you know, parents, us as parents, and his sister, and so much. And now I think, you know, I hope he has the opportunity to give back, and just that he was a good, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's important for me that people think of Hayden knowing that he had a big heart, and that he wanted to help others.
That's amazing. Cathy, make sure you share with Hayden that I thought that Grady would go to college on a baseball scholarship because he was so good in baseball. And it was because the baseball coach back then would not allow him to try out because the football team for the first time made it to the playoffs. And so the football players missed the tryout time. And that's how Grady got into football. He's always played football, but we always thought that baseball would be the college career thing. So yeah, that's interesting. But Hayden he has a heart really mirrored to his mom. And that is amazing. That is so amazing. We're so happy that the family is here in Atlanta. I'm so happy to call you my friend and call him my son, good looking son. Wink, wink. But thank you, Cathy. Thank you so very much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for asking me to be part of this. It's a wonderful show, and you know, I wish you the best with everything, and I can't wait to see you on Sunday, and we'll be cheering these Falcons on.
That's right. That's
Cathy,
right.
Godspeed this Sunday and this season. We're going to be looking for that jersey, trying to find out where you're at. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. Have a great evening.
Bye-bye. Take care.